Alright, problem solving with equations. Now, to solve problems containing two or more unknown quantities, we got to decide which unknown quantity the variable is going to be. And then we're going to express the other unknown quantities based on that variable. Alright, so for example, the length of a rectangle is 6 inches more than its width. If the perimeter of the rectangle is 24 inches, what is the length of the rectangle? Alright, so since the length of a rectangle is being described compared to its width, I'm going to set the width equal to x. That's going to represent my width. My length, it says it's 6 inches more than its width. So I'm going to do 6 or x plus 6. Remember that more than we switch. So perimeter. All you have to do with perimeter is add up all 4 of your sides. You can also use this equation. Perimeter equals 2 times the width plus 2 times the length. Okay, so if it's saying our perimeter is 24 inches, so put that in for the perimeter. We do 2 times the width, which we said was x, so 2x, plus 2 times the length, and we said the length is x plus 6. So I'm going to put x plus 6 in parentheses. So when I distribute, I get 2x plus 2 times x is 2x plus 2 times 6 is 12. So I have 2x plus 2x plus 12. Now I need to combine like terms on this side of the equation. 2x and 2x is 4x, so I get 4x plus 12 equals 24. Subtract 12 from both sides. 24 minus 12 is 12. 24, yeah, minus 12 is 12. 4x on this other side. Then I'm going to divide each side by 4, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. Now 3 is not our length. 3 was our width. So to find my length, I do 3 plus 6, and that's what's going to give me my length of 9. And that's what it's asking for, remember, and not width. Okay, the next one we're going to look at is the width of a rectangle is 2 centimeters less than its length. So this way it's switched compared to last time. The perimeter of the rectangle is 16 centimeters and wants to know what is the length. Alright, since the width is being compared to the length, I'm going to have the length as x this time. The width, it said, was 2 centimeters less than its length. So I'm going to do the length minus 2. Remember, when I have less than, I switch this and the variable. Okay, so it's going to be x minus 2. So use our perimeter formula. P equals 2 times the width plus 2 times the length. I'm going to put the width in, x minus 2. The length in is just x. Distribute, I get 2x minus 4 plus 2x. Combine these two like terms, which gives me 4x equals 16, and don't forget the minus 4 there. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. 16 plus 4 is 20. And I still have 4x on this side, so I've got 4x equals 20. Then we need to undo the 4x by dividing each side by 4, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. And notice it wanted the length this time, so my x does represent my length, so my answer is 5. Now if I wanted to find the width, all I'd have to do is put 5 in, subtract 2, and I'd know my width is 3. Right, now let's look at some consecutive integer problems. Now consecutive integers are integers that differ by only just one integer, by 1. So if I've got the sum of 3 consecutive integers is 147, I want to find the integers. So I need to set them each up. So the first number I'm going to set as x. Now my second number, if it's an integer, I just add 1. So it's going to be x plus 1. Okay, then my third integer is going to be this one, x plus 1, plus 1. So it'll be x plus 2. Notice this is how I get from integer to integer if they're all 3 consecutive. So if I add all of 3 of these together, it's going to equal 147 because there's my is, that means equals. So I do x plus 1 plus x plus 2. I get my x from here plus my x plus 1 there, my second integer, and then my x plus 2 is my third integer. I add them all together. I need to combine like terms. I got an x there, there, and there. That's 3 x's. 1 and 2 make 3. So really it's 3x plus 3 equals 147. Now you subtract 3 from both sides. You get 3x equals 144, and then divide each side by 3. And you're going to get x equals 48. Now that's your first one. So that's your first number. Add 1 to that, 48. 49 is going to be your second number. Then take your first one and add 2, and 50 is going to be your third number. So 48, 49, and 50 will be your answer. Now this one says the sum of two consecutive integers is negative 11. And find the integers. Okay, my first one I'm going to set as x. The next one then is going to be x plus 1. So I add these two together. X is my first number plus x plus 1, my second number, is going to equal to negative 11. Combine like terms, that's going to give me 2x plus 1 equals negative 11. Subtract 1 from both sides. You have 2x equals negative 12. Divide by 2 and you get your first integer to be negative 6. Now if that's x, then I need to add a positive 1 to negative 6, which gets me up to negative 5 as my next integer. So negative 6 and negative 5 would be your two consecutive integers. Now we can also look at it versus odd and even integers. So this one asks for the sum of two consecutive even integers is 118. Find the integers. I'm still going to set my first one as x. Now if it's even, how do I get to the next even integer? Is by adding 2. So if I am at 2, how do I get to my next one, which is 4? I add 2 to 2, and that gets me to 4. Or if I'm at 6, how do I get to my next even one? 6 plus 2 is 8, and that's my next even integer. So I add these two together, so I have x plus 2. Combine like terms, you get 2x plus 2, and it's equaling to their sum, which is 118. You're going to subtract 2 from both sides. Gives you 2x equals 116, and then divide by 2 on both sides to get your first integer of 58. Notice it's consecutive even integers, so I add 2 to 58 and get 60 for my second integer. Now, we're going to use the same idea of adding 2 each time for odd integers as well. So this one's the sum of 3 consecutive odd integers is 81, and it wants to find the integers. The first one's going to be set equal to x. The second one, x plus 2, just like I did up here with the even ones. And then the third one is x plus 4 because it's 2 more than the second one. So I just add 2 more. So I'm going to do the first, which is x, plus the second, which is x plus 2, plus the third, which is x plus 4. And all that's equaling its sum of 81. So combine like terms. You got 1x, 2x, 3x, so I've got 3x. 2 and 4 is 6, and all that equals to 81. Now I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. 81 minus 6 is 75, and I still have my 3x. Then divide each side by 3, and I get x to equal 25. Notice this is the first integer. To get to the next odd integer you add 2, that's 27. And then you add 2 more, and that's 29. And notice they're all 3 odd, even though I did the same thing like I did with the even. This time I've got the odd integers. Alright, let's look at some practice problems. Okay, we've got this first one. The length of a rectangle is 3 feet more than twice the width. The perimeter is 54 feet, so we need to find the length and the width this time. So we're finding both. Alright, I'm going to set my width equal to x, and my length, it says it's 3 feet more than twice the width. So I'm going to do 2x plus 3, and that's going to give me my length. Alright, so we use our perimeter formula. P equals 2 times the width plus 2 times the length. Put in x for the width, put in 2x plus 3 for the length. Notice, always have parentheses when you're plugging it in. Distribute. You get 2x here, then you get 4x, and 2 times 3 is 6. Combine like terms, the 2x and 4x become 6x. And you still have the plus 6, and it's all equaling the perimeter, which is 54. So now I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides, and you're going to get 48 equals 6x. then divide each side by 6, and I'm going to get x to equal 8. Notice this is the width. It is asked for not only the width, but also the length. To find the length, I need to plug in 8 for x. So I'm going to take this formula right here, this expression, plug in 8 for x. So I get 2 times 8 plus 3. 2 times 8, 16. Add 3 is 19. So I have an 8 by 19 foot rectangle. Alright, this second one says a square and an equilateral triangle have the same perimeter. Each side of the square is 12 feet. Find the length of each of the triangle sides. The first thing, we've got a definition or a vocabulary word that you may have forgotten. Equilateral triangle, remember, means a triangle that has all of its sides equal. They're the same length. Okay, so if I have, here's my square. I know it's not drawn to proportion. I can't draw very well, so please bear with me. So there's my square. Remember, each of the sides is 12 feet. So if I have a 12 by 12 by 12 and 12, you add up all those 12s, or you do 4 times 12 because there's 4 sides. You get a perimeter of 48 feet. Now this problem is telling us that this triangle also has the same perimeter of 48 feet. So if I should take the perimeter of the square, and there's my little square, equals the perimeter of the triangle according to my problem. My perimeter of my square is 48, and then the triangle, I have 3 sides. They're all x in length, so it's going to be 3x, and that's how I find the perimeter of a triangle. Then all I need to do is divide each side by 3 to get each side of my triangle is going to be 16 feet. So to check it, all I have to do is 16 plus 16 is 32, plus 16 is going to be 48, and that makes both perimeters the same. Alright, this third one asks the sum of 2 consecutive integers is negative 35, and it wants us to find the integers. Now it's 2 consecutive ones, one after another. So the first one's going to be x, the second one's going to be x plus 1. So I add the 2 together, the first one plus the second one, and set it equal to the sum, which is negative 35. Okay, combine like terms. X and x is 2x plus 1 equals negative 35. I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. I get 2x equals negative 36. Then divide by 2 and I get x to equal negative 8. Now if I take that and notice my second one, you've got to add 1 to it. If you add 1 to negative 18, you're going to get negative 17. So those are my 2 consecutive integers. Now this fourth one, the greater of 2 consecutive even integers is 6 less than twice the smaller. And wants us to find the numbers. Okay, if I let my smaller number be x, and my large number be x plus 2 because it's inconsecutive and it's even, so I need to add 2 to my previous one. So I take that, and it says that the greater of the 2 consecutive even integers is, and that means equals, so I do my larger one, that's x plus 2 equals, and it's going to say 6 less than twice the smaller. So I do twice the smaller number, which I stated was x, and I need to do 6 less than. That means I need a minus 6. Okay, now we have our equation. X plus 2 equals 2x minus 6. Okay, I have a variable on both sides. So this time I'm going to subtract x from both sides. X minus x is 0, that goes away, and I have 2 on this side. 2x minus x is just x, and I still have the minus 6. I need to add 6 to both sides. 2 plus 6 is 8, and notice that goes away, and I'm left with x. So one of my integers, my smallest one, is 8. Now, if I need to find my larger one, I do 8, and then I add 2, and that's 10. So my 2 integers are 8 and 10.